Last autumn, we moved our family of 5 to our forever home in Acreage and have spent the winter months fixing up and remodeling the inside. We love DIY projects and have been excited to head outside and fix things up on our property now that the sunshine has returned to the Pacific Northwest. One of the biggest goals we have for this place is to become more self-sufficient, and so this year we are starting a kitchen garden using our own spin on the no-dig method. We're always looking for simple, budget-friendly ways to achieve our dreams, and this garden does just that. By using the resources we already have and salvaging materials for this space, we are excited to begin our journey as first-time gardeners. So join us as we transform this corner of our property and take another step on the path of taking this place from house to homestead.
Let the sun shine on the broken. Let the summer come again. Let the heat find all the frozen. Let the forces.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Welcome to day 1 of building the garden, like the hands-on work. I guess maybe day 1 was the other day when you and Nathan moved the swing
Day and a
set.
half one.
Day 1.5 because that was like a 5-minute task. Underneath the shed that used to be here is a good amount of gravel, which is not great to go under our garden beds. So we're working to move that. We were actually thinking about getting another half load or so of gravel just to fill some potholes that we have in our driveway. Now we can just move this stuff to those spots. So that's what we're doing first. I have other stuff to do today, so come along.
Looking for a reason, driven by the heart, fighting for a season, with sadness fall apart. Bring it on, we'll be running the show. Bring it on, take it all as we go. Bring it on, let's go. Bring it on, let's roll the dice. Bring it on tonight.
How are you doing that? You just put a bunch of dirt on it. So we got about halfway done with scooping the gravel. We're taking a lunch break right now. We also got a couple of stakes put in the ground. We're just tentatively mapping out the layout of the garden. After lunch, my mom is actually coming over and she's gonna help me look at like where the sun is and what can go in what beds and where the beds are even gonna go and what the orientation is. I'm so grateful to have my mom's help. So she's on her way. I'm gonna eat something really quick and we're gonna figure this out. Mom's here and it's raining.
Yeah. This is a great place. And then once you put your beds in and you study the sky and you go, okay, there's shade here in the morning, then it's you know, then I get shade again when it goes back.
Like where the front is, you have like a little entrance, like the gate. Yeah. We already have a gate built.
Okay, we'll just put it here.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your help. I appreciate it.
Yeah, totally.
And that gives me some good direction. Alrighty, well, thank you. I love you.
Appreciate it. I love you.
I'll see you later.
Okay.
Liam, get out of the dirt.
Exciting.
Yes, it is. Well, now it's pouring, and Weston had a work call, so I'm taking that as my cue to get some other stuff done. First of all, I'm gonna attempt to assemble this deck box where I'm gonna keep some supplies and stuff for gardening. I brought it inside because I don't wanna work in the pouring rain. And I'm going to keep this cardboard because if you're familiar with the no-dig method, you actually lay cardboard down on the ground to inhibit the weed growth. So we've been making a collection of cardboard over the last few weeks. This is a big piece that we can use here after I get this deck box assembled.
Let me take you higher, reaching for the sky, sitting by the fire. Here we are at last. We'll be cutting edge.
Well, I got everything assembled except for getting the lid on. I'm gonna have Weston help me with that when he gets home. But right now, I'm going to assemble this tumble composter.
Be running the show. Bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on. We'll be running the show. Bring it on. Take it
Okay, close the door and be super careful. Keep your eyes up, okay? And if daddy tells you to get out of the way, get out of the way, all right? Doing projects with kids always takes an extra measure of safety, which takes extra time, but we're willing to spend it because it's great to have their help with stuff. But we gotta keep our eyes up. We've gotta be really careful with them. We've got some big projects today that we're working on. We've already been hard at work for a couple of hours. Weston finished the gravel removal, and then that showed us just how much gravel we had there, how deep it was, and now we're left with a pretty significant dip. So we want to level things out. So we were able to order 5 or 6 yards of topsoil for fill dirt in the area just to make it as level as we can get it. We're actually gonna be borrowing my dad's tractor today to get it all spread out and leveled out, which is awesome. Thanks so much, Dad, for letting us borrow it. We're gonna get our own tractor in like June or July, but he's letting us borrow it for this project today. And then the other thing that we figured out was this tree, which is at the back of the garden. It casts quite the shadow in the morning time. So the morning sunlight hours between like 8 a.m. and noon, it's really casting a shadow. And it's one of the things that I chatted with my mom about yesterday, and she weighed in on the situation. Coincidentally, it's one of the trees that we were already planning to take out. We had a professional tree guy come out and earmark certain trees for removal for safety. This one is half dead already, and the top half of it already fell with that big snowstorm and then the following windstorm that we got afterward. So I think nature was already taking its course to remove it, and now we're giving it a little bit of help, and it's going to be so much better for the sunlight on the garden that we've got there. So that's what we're working on today. Weston's got a fire going on for some of the limbs and branches that need to be burned now, but we're gonna turn this tree into firewood. We're always trying to use the resources that we have. We don't wanna just go around and chop a bunch of trees down. We love the trees on our property, but this one is just in the wrong place at the wrong time. So it's coming down, and we're also going to add some fill dirt to this garden and see how much we can get done today. We've got the branches burning over there, and we already have more sunlight here because we took off some of the lower branches, and you can literally see the shadow of the tree right here. So this guy's coming down at some point. We have 3 yards of our 6 that we ordered for the topsoil. The delivery guy is on his way with the second half of it, and Weston is headed over to my parents to go grab the tractor from my dad.
I guess I'm just too tired of fighting what you say. As we're growing older, darling, I begin to understand it all. It's me that I'm fighting now that I see what is hiding underneath my skin. And I'm always sorry to bring you in my fall.
Okay, how much does using that tractor make you want to get one of your own?
Yeah.
That will be so nice. Okay, what are we doing now?
Well, since that got done so fast, I thought we could get this done really quick. So we're gonna try and clear the garden up out of the way.
So we're taking the old fence down, which some of this is salvageable, and we will be using it in the new garden, but we need to get the fence away so that we can use the tractor to rip all of this old stuff out. Because we have it, we might as well use it, right?
'Cause as we're growing older, darling, love is growing stronger, 'cause it's me that I'm fighting now that I see what is hiding underneath my skin. And I'm always sorry to bring you with my fall.
Okay, well, the tractor work is done, and Oh my goodness, what a difference a tractor makes. We had it here for just a couple of hours, and the stuff we were able to move and grade and change is just amazing. Hey, nice inside out backwards shirt, bud. Right now we're watching Weston work on taking this tree down back here. He already cleaned up the tractor and took it back to my dad's, and now he fired up our chainsaw and he's taking this tree down, which is why the kids are inside with me right now, so we can safely view it fall down. I almost missed it. Ah, it smells so good out here, and that'll make some nice firewood for us. How many rings are on it? One, two. Oh. The kids are trying to figure out how old this tree was. They're counting the rings. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18.
It's 18 years old.
Look at that, a real adult. Hello, it's the next day. I think we're building some garden beds today, which is so exciting. It feels like it's taken forever to get to this point. And look at that, it's actually warm enough outside where I don't need a coat today. I am thanking the Lord for the sunshine today because it's actually unexpected. It was supposed to pour down rain today. It's Mother's Day today, actually. And there is nothing I would rather do than spend Mother's Day building a garden. So let's go do that. Looks like Weston put the lid on this for me. Thank you very much. We actually purchased these materials, this wood and these little corner little cement blocks, when we hadn't yet decided on doing no-dig beds. And this is a little much for the size of a no-dig bed, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. You know our MO, use what you've got, and this is what we've got. So we are going to start plotting this out and building our garden. This is so exciting. Oh my gosh. Hey, Farmer Weston. You ready to build a garden? Love the bucket hat. Nice.
Daisies blooming, sundress swaying in the breeze. I can't stop staring. You've put a spell on me, and I hope that you never decide to set me free. The way you're moving, it's got me moving my own feet. The greatest feeling that I could ever dare to dream.
Look at that. The garden beds are down. We've got 4 of them there. And then I might do some container gardening, like on the front of the ones on the end. We might build more no-dig beds. We wanted to at least get the 4 garden beds built. And now that that's done, we can start working on a fence.
Let's not waste time, or take this slow. We've got miles behind us, but miles to go. So let's just break this down to the simplest truth. You and I as one will always be better than 2.
Well, we are ready to call it a day for today. We got a lot done. Look at those beautiful beds. You saw we got our fence poles up. We got the gate put where it's going to go. It's not like permanently installed right now. But we started putting this wire fencing up from around the old garden, and we're realizing that there is so much of it that's already so warped and damaged. There's a lot of holes here, especially down at the bottom where bunnies can just pop right in. The reason we're putting a gate up is to keep them out, them and the deer. And it honestly, it just looks janky. It's gonna be a big focal point from our kitchen and our dining room. We're gonna pay the $100 and get a new roll of this fencing, get it done right the first time. We're trying to salvage as much as we can of the materials we already have, but I think this is just a little too far gone. We might be able to find a different use for it, maybe for chickens at some point. We want to get something a little bit crisper for the garden.
Always be better than 2.
Hello, hello. We got our new fencing. We're looking for a cheap way to do a fence. This is really where it's at. Each stake is like $7. We actually only had to buy 1 stake to add to the collection we already had. And just wanted to support the backside of this fence to put one in the middle, which I think is a good idea. Then we bought 2 rolls of this, which these rolls each, I want to say were like $55. Not bad. So we're gonna set this up finally get this all fenced in. Look at this. We have a fence, and we were able to reuse so much of the materials, including this fence gate, which, I mean, it's a little rickety, but I like how it looks already weathered and rustic. I don't know, maybe I'm a dork. I know I'm a dork, but it works just fine. It'll keep the critters out. Now, I had the kids bring this cardboard over. Now I'm going to put this cardboard into the beds and the pathways in between the beds. This one especially, it's important for us to get this cardboard down because, as you can see, there is definitely some, I'll try to get my shadow out of the way. This side of the garden, the topsoil that we laid down is definitely thinner, and this was the most weedy part. So that cardboard is going to block the sunlight from helping those grasses and weeds grow up through. And then that cardboard gets covered with compost, which we have over there, a few inches of that. And then our plant starts get planted into that. And by the time the cardboard underneath is biodegrading and getting super soft, the roots of the plants that you plant are starting to get to the point where they would start to go through this soil underneath. So it all works symbiotically, and the idea of no dig is that you're not disturbing the ecosystem under here by ripping all those weeds out or doing the traditional method of tilling everything up. I will link Charles Dowding, his channel. He's sort of the pioneer of this, although a lot of other people have done similar things. I've read his books and watched a ton of his videos and read a bunch of stuff on his website, and he does side-by-side comparisons of a tilled garden bed versus a no-dig bed, and especially in this climate, which is actually similar to where he is in England, it seems like the best choice for us. So that is what we are going to do, and right now I took one of the sides off because I was moving a little bit of dirt, which is a great system, by the way. I'm already happy with these blocks, being able to put these wood sides in. I can just move it if I need to. I don't anticipate moving these a lot when I'm gardening, like when I have my garden in, but for building this and working on the no-dig system, it's been awesome. So I was just moving a little bit of dirt over here so that we can put cardboard down in the path as well. I'm gonna cover that back up with dirt. I have pavers to put down, and then I'm gonna plant something in between the pavers, which I'll show you in a little bit. But right now I'm just gonna finish doing a little bit of raking here, and then we're gonna get some cardboard down. The day is here. It's finally planting day, and I have a bunch of starts here up on my deck. I kept them up here overnight away from critters and slugs. But some of these are from my mom's garden. So she dug up some plants. She separated some out. I'll show those to you. She also started some plants for me, which is so sweet. She started some of her own and then did a few extra for me. And then some of these starts are from a local nursery, and they all are organic. So let me show you what I've got going into the garden today. And I will do a full garden tour once everything is planted, but these are a lot of the starts that my mom did for me. Got some bush beans, some endive, 4 Seasons lettuce, some Lady Godiva pumpkins. We got some cabbage here. Then she also dug up some of these green onions, these chives. Look at how cool these are. She had a huge plant just going crazy, and so she dug some of that up for me. She also dug up some oregano. These raspberries are from her, so that's gonna go in. There's Weston putting chicken wire at the base of our fence because we realized the bunnies can still get through that width. Bug control and rabbit control are probably our #1 concerns. And so getting this chicken wire up will at least help with the bunny rabbits. And then we had the boys put bricks all down the bottom to discourage them from burrowing underneath the bottom of the fence. We're trying, again, we're first-time gardeners. At the local nursery, I picked up some nasturtium, which I know you can like directly sow your own nasturtium seeds or even start them yourself. But I want to get these blooming as soon as possible because these actually deter deer. So I got some of this kind, and I'm going to plant them kind of around the corners just to keep the deer away. And the nasturtium blossoms are actually edible, which is awesome. I have some mint, I have some sage. I'm going to probably make one of these beds, like an herb bed. I'll have sort of a leafy greens bed as well, especially right now since it's not too warm outside. So I picked up some of this red baby romaine lettuce, and then my mom's endive and 4 Seasons lettuce will also be added to that. I picked up this thyme because I would like to plant this in between the pavers that we have in between our beds, sort of as a ground cover. This is like that vining sort of crawling thyme. And I've got lavender scented thyme, nutmeg, lemon thyme, which reminds me of my grandma's house. She always had lemon thyme in between her pavers. Literally just breaking off part of this and smelling it. I am literally at my grandma's house on Easter. It's very sentimental. More nasturtium there, and then I have some strawberry plants with my little gnome. I gave my mom one of these for Mother's Day, and I saw my mom put her gnome with the strawberries, which I'm gonna do container gardening for. This isn't going in one of the beds. I'll show you what I do with that in a little bit, but it's time to get into that soil and start planting. I have waited for this for so long. I'm so excited.
Misty mountains, dusty roads ahead, crossing rivers, dreaming of a bed from a window in the mighty clouds up high. I can touch a stream of gold above, breaking through with hope of light and love, giving peace of mind to those of us who try. Try to make a way. I can hear you say.
We have our greens over here, some squashes here. Yes, I'm aware some cross-pollination might happen. This is what I'm feeling led to do. I'm going to do my herbs in this one, and then my peas and beans in this one.
Let the sun shine on the broken. Let the summer come again. Let the heat find all the frozen. Let the force in. And I am above, above. I feel above. Oh.
And in this last little area, we're going to direct sow some radishes. That's the best way to plant them, apparently. And the kids are excited because we get to actually put seeds in the ground.
You have seen 1,000 lovers meet. You have I've seen 1,000 tired feet, seen them rest upon a hill beneath a crown. Try to make a way. I can hear you say, let the sun shine on the broken, let the summer come again, let the heat find all the frozen, let the force in, and I am above, I feel above, oh, let the sun shine on the broken, let the summer come again.
What a beautiful day, and now it's a beautiful evening. I just gave these new plants some water, helping them find their little home here. I got everything planted today that I wanted to get planted, but there are still a few more things to get into the ground. These nasturtiums, I have some sunflowers, which I forgot to show you, and then of course that thyme that goes in between the pavers in the walkway. So I will give you the full tour once I've planted everything, but we're ready to call it a day for today. Weston's got the grill fired up. He's making some hamburgers over there. It smells amazing. The dirt smells amazing. The herbs behind me smell amazing. I'm ready to put my feet up and enjoy a good burger. So I will see you once this is all planted for the garden tour. Well, the garden is built. The starts and seeds have been planted, and I have found my new favorite spot in the whole wide world. This garden has already brought me so much joy. And just like any garden, it is still a work in progress, and I'm just so excited to continue to work this space. I am so proud of us and what we were able to accomplish in the last couple of weeks of putting this together, and all of the materials that we were able to salvage to make it come together. This is my absolute favorite spot to be in the entire world, and I love having the kids play around here. They're in the woods, they're going in and out, you'll hear them while I give you this little tour of our first ever garden. So we have what I'm calling the cabbage patch. It has more than cabbage in it. We have the starts from my mom, the endive, the Four Seasons lettuce here. We have the lettuce starts that I got at our local nursery, and then this lovely cabbage that my mom started for me. It's called market cabbage, and it's already doing so much better now that it's actually in the ground. Seeing new fresh green leaves start to pop up here and grow. This makes me so happy. So these things in the garden have been planted for almost 2 weeks now, and they're doing so well. I actually had my mom out a few days ago to just take a look at stuff and give me any pointers. And she actually did show me a couple of things that maybe needed a little bit of help or a change, and I'll show you that. But we have the crawling thyme in between the pavers, and it's actually already started to crawl out a little bit and sort of fill in some spaces. We have the squash patch. So our Lady Godiva pumpkins back there, some spaghetti squash plants here, and then we have some zucchini plants, and everything's looking good. This row here with these pavers has the lemon thyme in it, which every time I come out here I just grab a little bit of it and smell my grandma's place. We have the herb patch with the green onions and the oregano and the rosemary from my mom's place. I added some sage, some Italian parsley in this row. I added some mint, and I also have room for other herbs that I'll add as we go on. I want to add some basil, but it's not quite been hot enough for basil, so I've held off on that, as well as a couple of other things I want to get into this garden. The only thing that's not doing so well is this dill that I bought. I don't know if the starts were bad or if I'm doing something wrong, so if you have any suggestions and you have some experience in our zone growing dill, would you please leave those in the comments? I'm always open to feedback and suggestions. If I could grow nothing else, I would grow herbs. Even when I haven't had space for a garden, I've always had little herbs in pots in my kitchen. I love cooking with fresh herbs, so this just makes me so happy to have this spot. The thyme in between the pavers is edible, so that's another herb that I've got going on out here. And then this is the box that I have actually changed since the last time I showed anything on video in this video. And so I had my pea plants here at the back of this box. You'll remember me setting up these little trellises. I bought these trellises months ago when I was just gathering some supplies. I actually found them secondhand. 2 pea plants at the base of these little trellises. And I knew pea plants climb, so I got those. But my mom pointed out, and it even says it on the label of the plants that I got, the starts, that you're supposed to separate those larger pea plants into like 3 or 4 smaller plants. And she does this in her garden, this little trellis sort of thing with bamboo sticks. It's a really affordable way to give them something to climb, and they get pretty high. So I switched spots. I put the bean plants that she gave me in this spot. They're actually bush beans. They don't necessarily need a trellis, but I already put them in the ground and they can climb a little bit. So I have those there. Those bush beans are from my mom. She started those for me. And then these pea starts that I got are gonna go up this little archway. And I think it's gonna look so cool once they start climbing up and creating more of a little arch. And then look at our radishes. I actually saw our first start, a little green popping up when my mom was over, and I got so excited about it. I was downright giddy and I had to show the kids. And then over the last few days, we've just had so many more. So I know you're supposed to sort of thin these out. So I'm gonna let them get a little bit bigger before I do that. But this is our little radish patch. And then at the back of this patch in the corner, Haley and I planted some sunflower starts. Some of these are just like your typical yellow big sunflowers, and then I have some like darker burgundy ones, and I just can imagine them here in the corner standing tall. And I wanted them back here since I know where our sun hits. I didn't want them to shade our beds but still get plenty of light. And it's early morning right now, or I should say mid-morning. I came out here when it was early morning, but this whole spot over here would have been still in the shade if we had kept that tree up, and it gets hours more sunlight because we took it down, and we have planted a lot more plants than we have taken down. So I'm happy with how this has all turned out. This little corner is probably going to change a bit. Right now it's sort of the berry patch. We have our strawberries here. These are your Albion strawberries, just your typical French strawberries, but these ones are very special, but you have to wait until next week to hear about those. I actually share it in the next video or the next vlog that I do, what these very special strawberries are up here at the top. And there's our little Nomi there. And then we actually found this when we were clearing some stuff out behind the garden area. It's like this little hanger stake thing from the previous owners, and so we got it into the ground, and by we I mean Weston, because it was a big job. And we have our wind chime. I would like to have a basket, like a hanging basket of cherry tomatoes here, maybe a flower basket on the other side. And this corner of the garden gets the most sunlight. This has full sun all day long. And so when it's time to put some tomato starts, possibly some pepper, maybe some eggplant starts, they are going to actually go in this area. I think I'm going to build another no-dig bed, or maybe do some container gardening in this spot, but we're not quite there in our growing season yet. We've had a very long, cold spring. But days like today, with the sunshine, just make me so, so happy. I would much rather work to water my garden than spend my day sitting inside watching the rain in the spring and summertime. So I'm hoping for a nice warm summer. But we have a raspberry plant. That's the one that my mom gave me. And then for my birthday just a couple days ago, my mom got me this blueberry plant. So I think I'm gonna run to the nursery and get another raspberry plant, and then get another blueberry plant. And they will probably go on this side of the garden over here. This spot almost the entire day gets full sun. Just at nighttime when the sun dips back behind the corner of the house over here, this starts to get into the shade. But it's so many hours of sunlight that it would still be a good spot for our berries. As far as mulch or ground cover goes for the inside of the garden, we have gone back and forth and discussed so many different options. Weston and I both really don't like wood chips, or like a bark ground cover. We understand the merits of it, keeping slugs away, and choking out any like grass and weeds and stuff like that. But we just really don't like it. We just don't like wood chips. And so we thought maybe we'll just plant grass here. We know that attracts slugs. And then as we were planting this time in between the pavers, I was doing some more research about it, and I'm thinking that we are going to plant more crawling thyme on this spot, this area that you walk, because we don't want just dirt, because it gets muddy when it rains. It's just going to be weed city after a while, after the weeds start to come up through this layer of topsoil that we put down. So I think crawling thyme is going to be a good alternative. It does well in our zone. It's cushy to walk on. It flowers for a couple of weeks in the summer, which is great for pollinators. I will just have to be careful when I walk out here because I am severely allergic to bees, and that's something that I've had to be careful throughout this whole process. I love the bees. I think they're adorable, but my body doesn't when I get stung. I have to bring my EpiPen out with me. So lots of considerations to make, but I think we've landed on the whole thyme thing for the ground cover, but stay tuned because we will be updating as we go. Another thing I did off camera was plant all of these nasturtium plants. We've got them here and all around the perimeter of the garden. Those will bush out and they will multiply, they'll spread, and they will help the deer stay away. And we've had good luck with our little chicken wire at the bottom and the bricks that the boys laid down at the bottom. We have not had a single bunny in this garden, and the deer around here will not jump a fence like this. I know in other areas the deer get pretty bold, but that is a benefit of having this garden this close to the house, is that they're a bit timid and nervous to go into this area because of how close to the house it is. Actually planted some edelweiss here in this because I found that at the nursery and I could not help myself. I've been in the show Sound of Music 3 different times in my theater days, and it's very, very special to me. I am so glad we were able to use the fence gate that we already have. And as I said before, this is a work in progress. So I have more things that I want to do in this garden to sort of, how my dad would say, gingerbread it up, where you put little embellishments, you make it cutesy. We would like to sort of hide somehow these metal poles, maybe like wrap them in wood or something, maybe get like a wood border at the top of the fence here. I have some pretty solar powered fairy lights that are weatherproof. You can use them outdoors, so I might put them around here somewhere. I have some solar powered little lanterns that I would like to hang on either side. I would love to build a wooden arbor and grow star jasmine, or maybe even do like a grapevine or something at the entrance of the garden. I think that would be beautiful. I mean, I think this garden is beautiful as it is, and I would be content to keep it like this, but I would also like to add just a little bit more like aesthetically pleasing, fun stuff. It's definitely part of our landscaping. It's one of the first things you see when you drive up to our house. We see it out our kitchen and dining room windows. And so I'm excited to do some more things in here to pretty it up. We already have some flowers that I planted, which is also in the next video, just to attract some pollinators to the garden. These are absolutely beautiful. I have some special hen and chicks that I got from my grandma's place, my grandma Judy. This little succulent has been in the family for decades and decades, and they just keep multiplying, and it's very, very sentimental and sweet. As you can see, I'm quite the sentimental person, and that is definitely showing here in what I've chosen for the garden, down to the Edelweiss at the back of the garden. But that is just who I am, and this space has given me so much joy. I am so, so grateful for a husband who just worked alongside of me and made this happen with me. He built me this garden. I mean, we built it together, but I couldn't have done it without his help, and I'm just loving it so, so much. I feel so loved. Do you know you're my hero?
Oh, thanks.
I love this garden so much, and I plan to spend the rest of my life working in this garden. And the kids seem to really enjoy it as well. It's been fun for them to help me out here, so.
Well, I'm glad it makes you happy.
Oh my gosh,
because then it makes me happy. So.
And he's such a good cook that it'll be nice to have. It'll be nice to have those fresh produce ingredients for you to cook with when you make your amazing food for us. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with us while we transformed this corner of our property. Can you believe where we started?
No.
A little swing set in the ground with lots and lots of gravel. Had we known we would be using my dad's tractor that one day, we would not have shoveled that gravel by hand. Let's just put it that way. We would have saved ourselves a lot of trouble.
Yeah, we didn't know we'd be able to use that, so that was definitely a blessing.
Yes, definitely, and it all came together. So thanks so much for hanging out with us today while we built our no-dig garden. That cardboard on the bottom of the beds is already starting to biodegrade, and that just makes me so happy. It's all coming together. So thanks for spending a little part of your day here with me, here with us on my channel, and we'll catch you later.